Okay, this is number 16. And for the function f of x equals the square root of 1 plus 3x, answer the following. It says estimate to 3 decimal places the slope of the tangent line to the graph of y equals f of x at the point 1, 2. Show the setup of your calculations and enough calculations to justify your answer. All right, so on this, there's a few ways you can do this problem, and I've tried it both ways, and I'm going to show you the easiest way. We could use this definition, the limit as h approaches 0 of this, and you don't have to write this down, but and plug all these numbers into this, but it doesn't work out very well. And so another way you can estimate the slope of the tangent line is they want us to estimate at the point 1, 2. Okay, so here's what I did. I'm going to take that equation that they gave us, and I'm going to find 2 points that's on this graph. So we already know that 1, 2 is on that graph, so we can't use that point. Okay, so I'm going to figure out, all right, when x is 0, okay, so at x equals 0, what is my y value? Okay, so when I plug 0 into this, and if you want, you can use your calculator to figure out what that would be. So the easiest way to do that would be, I'm going to put this in my y equals, so I have the square root of 1 plus 3 to the x. And I'm just going to go to my table, and I'm going to plug in 0. And when I plug in 0, I get the point 1.414. Okay. All right, so now we need to find another point. Well, I can't use the point 1 because they've already used that. So I'm going to say, okay, when x equals 2, what is my y value? So when I plug 2 into this, what do I get? And so when I plug 2 in, I get 3.1623. So when x is 2, y is 3.162. We'll go 2 decimal places. So here's what I have now. I actually have 2 ordered pairs. I have the ordered pair 0, 1.414, and I have the ordered pair 2, 3.162. And so what we can do is we can find the slope between these 2 points to estimate the slope of the tangent line at the point 1, 2. So what we need to do is, if you have another problem like this, you need to pick x values that are around this x value. So since this is 1, I chose the values of 0 and 2. That's why I chose those. So if they gave you the point 2, 3, I would choose points 1 and 3. They gave you this, I would plug in 1 as an x value and 3 as an x value because they're close to the point 2, 3. Okay, so once you find out what those y values are, we're just going to find the slope of that. Okay, so slope is the difference of your y's over the difference of your x's. So my slope would be 3.162 minus 1.414 over 2 minus 0. And when I put that in my calculator, I'm going to get 0.874. Okay, so that's my answer to part A. So part B says use my answer for part 1, give an equation to x and y for the tangent line to y equals f of x at x equals 1. So what they want me to do is they want me to use the information I have. We found out that the slope is 0.874. They told us to use x equals 1, so that means we're using the same point, 1, 2. And we're going to write the equation of the line having this slope that goes through this point. So we're using this. Okay, this is my x1, this is my y1. So I'm going to take those numbers, plug it in. Y minus my y1, which is 2, equals 0.874 times x minus 1. And that's my answer for that part. Okay, number 17. Starting from the limit definition of the derivative, calculate the derivative at x equals 3. First, state the limit that defines the derivative and show the algebra. All right, so we're using this again. The limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. Okay, so I'm going to plug x plus h into, sometimes my computer does that, into this x. All right, so here's what it's going to look like. The limit as h approaches 0. Okay, now I'm going to go to this. So the square root of 2 times x. Instead of x, I'm plugging in my x plus h. And then I still have my plus 3. So this right here is this first part, x plus h. This means take the x plus h, plug it into my x value right here, minus f of x. Well, f of x was just the square root of 2x minus 3. And all of that is over h. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little algebra to it. I'm just going to distribute my 2. So I have 2x plus 2h plus 3 minus the square root of 2x minus 3 all over h. So here's the problem. I'm finding the limit as h approaches 0, but I can't use direct substitution yet because I get 0 in the denominator, and we can't have that. So here's what happens. Most of the time when you have a square root, if I multiply the top and the bottom by its conjugate, a lot of times it will cancel things out. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply by the conjugate of the top, which is 2x plus 2h plus 3 plus, you change the signs when you multiply by the conjugate, the square root of 2x minus 3. And I have to multiply the top and the bottom by that. 2x plus 2h plus 3 plus the square root of 2x minus 3. All right, so I'm actually multiplying this times this, and this times this. So I have the limit as h approaches 0. Now, when I FOIL this, I have this times this. So the good thing is it's the same thing. So when I multiply the same thing that's under the square root, I end up with just 2x plus 2h plus 3. And then when I multiply this term and this term, they cancel each other out. So then I just have to multiply my last two terms together. So I have minus this times this would be 2x minus 3 all over h times 2x plus 2h plus 3 plus 2x minus 3. Okay, so now I have the limit as h approaches 0 of 2x plus 2h plus 3 minus 2x plus 3. Let's see, plus 3. That's going to be minus. I'm checking to see. Because this should be a minus right here. Hang on. Because that's right there. So minus negative. Did I write it down wrong? Oh, I did. I just copied it down wrong. Oops. I don't know what happened there. Hang on. Okay. I think. Oh, my original problem right here. That's a plus 3, so that's what was messing me up. Sorry. Plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. Okay. So now that's a minus. All right, so minus 3 over h, the square root of 2x plus 2h plus 3 plus this. right, so here's the good thing. This cancels out, and my 3's cancel out. So all I have left on top is 2h over this big long thing. All right, so do you see my h's cancel? Now I'm going to find the limit as h approaches 0, which means I can use direct substitution. So I still have 2 on top. This right here is going to go away because that's just 0. So I have 2x plus 3 plus, and I don't have any h's here, 2x plus 3. So that's the limit as h approaches 0. But in the original problem, they said find the derivative and then when x equals 3. So I'm going to take my answer and I'm plugging 3 in place of all my x's. Okay, so I have 2 on top, 2 times 3 plus 3 plus 2 times 3 plus 3. That's going to give me 2 on top. 6 plus 3 is 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. That's going to be 9. So I have 2 over 3 plus 3, or 2 over 6, or 1/3. So all that work to get 1/3 is your answer. Okay, number 18. 18 is going to be very similar. Given that, and we have our equation, use the limit definition of derivative to determine f prime of 2. State the limit definition at the start. Okay, so part A. We're finding the limit as h approaches 0. And I always just write this down so you can see what I'm doing. So this means take x plus h and plug it into all of your x's first. So I actually have the limit as h approaches 0 of x plus h cubed minus 3 times x plus h minus 8. Okay, so I took my x plus h and plugged it into all of my x's. Minus f of x. My f of x was this. So minus x cubed minus 3x minus 8 all over h. Okay, so now I have the limit as h approaches 0. Now x plus h, this part right here means I have to FOIL out x plus h, x plus h, x plus h. You have to multiply all that out. So this times this, this times this. Take that answer and multiply it times this. So when you actually do that, you're going to get this. 8 plus 4h plus 8h plus 4h to the third plus 2h squared plus h to the third. And this 4h to the third right there, that's actually 4h to the second. So this right here is what you get when you FOIL all of this out right here. All right. Then I have, so I have this minus, okay. So now I have this. This right here is this part. So now I'm going to distribute my negative 3. So I have minus 3x minus 3h minus 8. Trevor's calling me. Hang on one second. Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Oh, you don't have any subs? Well, you are, whoops. You are. Okay, sorry. I was talking to Trevor and then I hit record and I didn't know it. All right, anyway, I'm starting over on this one, okay? Because I messed up and it's going to be too hard to show you where I messed up. All right, I'm still using the limit as h approaches 0, okay, of x plus h, but they told me I'm plugging 2 in for my x. So I can go ahead and say that's going to be 2 plus h minus f of 2 all over h. I could have substituted 2 at the very end, but it's just easier if you do it now. Okay, so now I'm going to plug 2 plus h first into all of my x's. So I have the limit as h approaches 0 of 2 plus h to the third minus 3 times 2 plus h minus 8. That's this part. Minus f of 2. So that means take 2, plug it in. So minus 2 cubed minus 3 times 2 minus 8 all over h. So 2 plus h quantity cubed. That means 2 plus h times 2 plus h times 2 plus h. So I'm just going to do 2 plus h times 2 plus h first. All right? So 2 plus h, 2 plus h. When I FOIL this out, and I'm going to write down here, I get this. 4 plus 4h plus h squared. Now I still need to multiply that by another 2 plus h. Minus 8 minus, now I'm going to go ahead and distribute this. That's 8. This is going to be a minus 6, so it's minus a negative 6, so that's plus 6. And that's going to be a positive 8. Okay, so I'm looking at all my work. I want to make sure I'm not messing up anywhere. Over h. Okay, now I'm going to distribute, I'm going to multiply this. So I have the limit as h approaches 0. When I FOIL this out, I get 8 plus 4h plus 8h plus 4h squared plus 2h squared plus h to the third. Okay, and then that's minus 16. All right. Um, I'm looking to make sure I didn't forget anything. So that's minus 16 plus 6. I don't think that's going to be right. I'm going to be so mad. Let me check. 8 plus 4h plus h squared plus 4h squared plus 2h squared plus h to the third minus